Hello everyone, it's Dina, aka Kitty Girl, and today's video I am going to bring you my new organization system for my 12 by 12 paper pads, at least most of them. And the reason why I say most of them is because when I was doing this system, I realized I had probably at least another 8 to 10 paper pads over with my junk journal supplies. And the reason why they're separated is one, because I ran out of space on my one shelf that I had designated for paper pads, and two, um, they were more textury, layered type papers. Even though it's a flat image, but they were a little bit more layered, kind of like a Tim Holtz type thing. You know how he does his thing, where it's more of a collage. And so I decided that those were best for my junk journals, and the papers were kind of light too, or thin, and so I had kept those separate. So, anyways, basically what happened was I forgot that I had them over there. Silly, silly me. So, anyways, um, I have been hugely guilty of going to buy the Tuesday morning deals, the hot buys at Michael's. And the reason is because when I needed something before, I would pull each one of my paper pads down and look through and see if there's anything that I can incorporate. Well, I got lazy. And so it was really time consuming to do that. And so then when I decided, well, it was easier for me just to go buy a new paper pad. So now I have way too many paper pads. Anybody guilty of that? So what I decided to do was kind of incorporate a Totally Tiffany method. If you're not sure who that is, you should go Google her. She's all over YouTube, and she has like some really great organization tips on organizing your supplies so you know what you have at a glance. And so I'm kind of incorporating that. She does like these free classes like twice a year, and she does like punches, she does paper, she does embellishments, photos. It's awesome. Go check her out. Go Google her. Totally Tiffany. So I've done her classes several times, sometimes twice in a year, and I've picked something new up each time. And of course, if you run out of time, you can just go back to those classes. And it's free, you guys, free. So anyways, I'm gonna sort of incorporate her method in my organization system here for my paper pads. So how am I gonna do that? Well, I didn't really want to go buy any new supplies because hello, Stina has a ton of supplies, and she's got some stuff from way back when, like way back in 14, 15 years ago, probably further than that. So I had plenty of supplies and I wanted to kind of use what I have. So if you don't, of course, go buy something super cheap and use it, because this right here is going to be my catalog. This is an old scrapbook. It is a super cheesy scrapbook. I can't even believe I own this scrapbook. It's very plasticky. I'm not even going to tell you the brand, but I have it and I'm going to use it. So that was my goal. So what I did is let me just open this up. I took the covers off my paper pads, and as I was doing so, I labeled it number one. And when I labeled this number one, I labeled my paper pad number one. And I'm going to show you here in a minute what I'm talking about. But I'm just going to kind of show you. I kept the cover as a 12 by 12. And I did this for several reasons. One, sometimes depending on who the maker of the paper is, like Graphic 45, they have all your papers here. Okay, it took up, what, 3/4 of this 12 by 12? And I did have to cut the top of it on some of these because, they kind of flapped over the whole paper pad. So I did have to cut this down to size. So it shows you what's in your paper pad, right? But they have their images here. Graphic 45, on some of them, have the little images here. So for me to try to figure out to do this in an 8.5 by 11 or 8 by 8, I'm going to lose some of these images. And the goal is to keep the images so I get the gist of what's in that paper pad. Okay, so I decided 12 by 12 was the way to keep it. The reason why I kind of kept it together is you have some gorgeous images on these covers, and I may want to recycle those because I know if you've seen some of my previous videos, you have seen me reuse my packaging. Why not reuse this packaging? Gorgeous, gorgeous images. So my thought is my method to my madness is, once I have a few sheets of that paper pad left, I'm going to pull it off my shelf and I'm going to cut those papers up and use it into cards. I'm going to use it in embellishments, and then I'm also going to pull the cover out because the pad no longer exists on my shelf. I'm going to pull the cover out and I'm going to recycle the cover. Now, I'm not going to replace number 7 with a new 7, a new paper pad. I'm just going to continue with the last number for anything new that I buy. Okay, I might have to shift papers around a little bit, but I guarantee I'm not going to get through this too soon, so I'm not too worried about it right now. But that was my method to my madness as far as why I'm keeping this to 12 by 12. And I mean, look here, you've got this part here. There's no way I'm going to get 8 by 8, an 8 by 8 out of this piece here and not lose this image up here of what's in my paper pad, or lose part of these images here. So that's the reason why I just kept it the way it is. Okay, see, look at this, gorgeous. Wouldn't you want to reuse this in a card or a scrapbook page, or some embellishments for your journals, or some banners, whatever? I mean, these are gorgeous, and these are actually, it's got a glitter texture on it. So yeah, so that was the reason why I kept that to a 12 by 12, because I wanted to make sure that I kept as much of the images on this sheet. Now, for like this particular one, oh, so the other thing I wanted to show you is, so I get back to the numbering system. Because I wanted to preserve as much of the image as possible, when I labeled my number on here, and I just used a Sharpie, okay, because some of these have a waxy touch to it, I try to pick a space that I would not use part of that image. So obviously this is some dead space to me, so I just did 9. And I try to keep it on the right hand side so I knew where my eye was going to look as I was going through this. Okay, so here, there was so many of these beautiful images. I probably could have put my 21 here, but I thought it would show up on the white here, so I put it here. So I know to look for my numbers over here to the right. Now if you wanted to, you could do tabs here, but I didn't want it to have anything sticking up too much at the top. Just, I haven't decided where I'm putting this, so I wanted to kind of refrain from that. See number 23, just to kind of give you an idea. 26, okay? So that's just to kind of give you the gist of it, of where I was doing it. Right hand side, have your number somewhere, okay? And let me go back to this 9. Now, it only shows you what, 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7 of the possible papers in this pad. Well, this pad is 48 sheets, okay? So it doesn't show you everything that's in this paper pad on that cover sheet. I think it doesn't show you this. It doesn't show you this foiling, okay? Gorgeous, right? It doesn't show you that. But at least you know what the color family is going to be like. So if I knew that I wanted to do something in this color family, I at least have a gist of what's in that paper pad, and I'm going to go pull the paper pad and I'm going to see what's all in there. Okay, so it doesn't show you all the papers. I think if you go to possibly, well, here, this is an authentique, and it possibly shows you everything that's in this paper pad, possibly all your pattern pieces. How about Bo Bunny? Bo Bunny, same thing, kind of shows you the front and backs and the gist of, most of what's in that. Okay. So anyways, what I did was, utilizing what I already had, I had this tab punch and I had coordinating laminate sheets that basically I would punch out my little tabs. I'm trying to grab one here. Punch out my tabs and some thick cardstock. I just used a Sharpie and numbered it. Okay. And then I used the laminate sheets that are shaped like this, which is this. I honestly don't know if you can find this. I kind of pick these up when they're at Tuesday morning, so I kind of picked up quite a bit every time I would see it. And I don't know why I picked it up. I think because I thought it coordinated with this, so that's why I got it. But it was in my stash, so I decided to use it. And so that's what I have. So now, because all of my paper pads have always, they always sit vertically on my shelf, now that I have this tab, I can just pull. If I see that I want number 9, this is the color family that I want, I'm just going to pull by this tab and pull it out. And I know what I'm getting. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you don't have laminated sheets or tabs, you could use some cheap old index card. You could write your number on it and just cut these in I don't know, maybe 2 by 2 or 1 by 2, and just write the number on it and just fold it in half, and then just use it, just label it number 9, right? And then just staple it right here to the back of your pad, and then you could just pull it out that way. Okay, forget this whole top part that I was talking about earlier. I totally confused you. I know you. I know I did. Or you could buy these are called ready tag index flags. You could use these. Now these aren't going to be as strong unless you staple them or glue them down, but you could totally use them. And I think there are some that's a little bit thicker than this too. So you could do that. You could take one of these and attach it to the back. And this is paper pad's not playing well with me today. You could attach it there if you wanted to. And I would probably just staple it to secure it. And in that way, if you wanted to pull it off your shelf, you could. Okay. So hopefully I didn't confuse you there. Now, here's another instance. I'm pulling out this one. I'm going to go to number 35. So here's an authentic paper pad. Now, this doesn't show you everything because it doesn't show you these dots or that you have solid cardstock. Okay? It's not showing you that. So, but again, at least you know the color family and you can go pull it. I want to do something with this theme. It's got pinks and greens. I'm going to go grab that. Okay? So, yeah. And I just thought keeping it in the 12 by 12 just like it comes would actually just preserve all of my images on there. So, and I already have the scrapbook, so why not just use it? That's my method to my madness. Now, this particular one, I had lost the front page. Um, so fortunately enough, the back had the images. So this is the back page. Okay. And then the other thing is keeping it whole. I know who the maker of the paper is. So, why not? I obviously know that this is going to be a Michaels hot buy. Maybe I love that paper so much and I just had so much fun using it that I want to go and find that paper again. So just maybe. So I will know who it's by. Craftsmith. It's from Michaels. Maybe I can find it again. So that's the other thing. So there's so many pluses on why you can just keep this if you can keep this to 12 by 12. But this is my catalog that I'm going to go to, and yeah, and I've got room to grow if I need to. The goal is not to grow. The goal is to use what I already have. Um, and I should be able to do that and just pull what I need. So that's that. Now, I have been buying some 6 by 6s as well. So you guys are going to see I have 38 paper pads done. Check that out. And this is not including what I have over in my junk journal section. So yeah, I have 38 paper pads. Isn't that crazy? So, and it's because I can't find what I need and I got lazy, or more or less I got lazy. And so I just went and bought new stuff. Now, I am collecting, I have 6 by 6. You guys, this is crazy. Paper is crazy. I never thought that I would be a paper hoarder, and I think I can classify myself as a paper hoarder now. But I'm hoping that changes. So this is an iris container that I had bought at Michael's. It's not wanting to close because of that, but because there's a handle. But this will close. Um, this closes. I have two of these containers. I can fit this on my shelf. I have room to fit this on my shelf, so I'm totally okay with that. I have the space for it. So I cannot go beyond these two containers. That's it, of 6 by 6s. Period. That that is that's my choice. Okay? I cannot go beyond these two containers. So with this containers, because when you go to Tuesday morning, you tend to get the ephemera packets that go with it, right? So I'm keeping that with my paper pads. So I'm a sucker for collections. So I'm going to keep those together, and then that way I have all of it together. I'd prefer to buy the 6 by 6s because they tend to take up less space. So if I can find it Unless it's an absolutely gorgeous paper and I absolutely need to have a 12 by 12, then I'll get it. But goal is to buy 6 by 6s now and not to go beyond these two containers. So that's my story and sticking to it. But anyways, I'm not gonna do this organization system with my 6 by 6s. I'm not there yet, because these are all smaller. I do kind of like to flip through it. Okay, so I'm okay with that. Look at that. I have this in the big one. I didn't even know that. I'm just now looking at it. I have this in the big size. This one, I have that in the big size. So that brings me to one more thing, and then I'll let this video end. So there were a few times that I found a paper pad that I absolutely adored and I had to have it at that time. Okay. And so I got a really good deal on it and I bought two. I bought two of them. So in my system, what I did was, here's that one that I have in the 6 by 6 as well. See, I loved it so much that I actually buy, and I'm really not one for buying duplicate paper pads unless I meant to do it. So I did find it interesting that I do have 6 by 6s of this, so that I will consider that a duplication. So had I known what I already had, I probably wouldn't have done it. So anyways, going forward, I know better. So anyways, those two little 6 by 6s that I showed you, I actually had it in the 12 by 12. So I have two of them and I didn't label each paper pad. Okay. So all I did is I put the first pad in front and then I labeled the last. Okay. And I just took the cover for one of them. Does that make sense? So that's what I did. And I know that I have at least two other duplications in there. And again, those were intentional. So, but that's what I did. I didn't tab each of the paper pads. I just tabbed one of them and put the first one in front. So when I go to pull this, I'll at least grab one of them. Maybe I should have labeled both, but right now we're going to see how this works. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. If you do have any questions or I rambled and I didn't make myself clear, which could possibly be the case because it's getting late. Let me know below and I'll try to help you. Until next time, um, bye.